Hi there crafters, Louise with you today, sharing my second layout for the month of December, how quick the time comes around, and I wanted to do something a little bit different today. So I'm actually using a patterned background paper, but because it's quite busy in pattern, I wanted to split it up with a little bit of white mixed in there, just to help break it up a touch. So I'm using this sort of strip technique, so cutting it into strips and then laying it out onto the paper. Now, I didn't want it to be too evenly spaced. I wanted it to be quite random. And I start with those stripes being vertical, but I end up turning them horizontal because I like that better. Now, I've chosen a photo. I decide that the journaling part of this photo is important, so I'm going to add that as an early part so I don't forget about it. Then I'm also going to add this top right-hand cluster. So I'm using some of the ephemera from this month's kit, and I'm going to just pop that aside and really start to work on enhancing the layers. So I'm also going to cut out this little frame, which I think is a great addition to the background. It almost didn't make it on, but it eventually does get in there. So lots of just adding stickers and embellishments and, using what comes in the kit just to create really easy to put together layouts. So for this one, all about this sort of cluster and the background. At some point I decide that I need something just to break it up between those clusters and that background. I have a bit of a play around with the circles. That doesn't quite work for me, but I then decide that a big background circle is the way to go. So I'm going to use my very technical scrapbooking tool, which is a dinner plate, and I'm going to trace around that to create that background circle. And then I'm going to use lots of those little circle chipboard embellishments to actually, create this sort of visual circle. So I toyed with the idea of putting them all the way around, filling in lots of the circle with more, but it didn't really need it. And I decided that, I quite like the way this looks. So I'm going to add a title just with some stash items because it was missing sort of a bigger title to help seal this layout together. And then I'm going to add a couple of little black splatters and I'm going to call this layout done. So that is my holiday fun layout for the December kit. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure that you hit that little subscribe button.